Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Sevilla I Love. And here we are on this channel getting back to living and loving life again after a major life-altering loss, such as being widowed. Many of you on this channel are widows yourselves or you're dating widows. And so I'm here to help bring you all together to be able to make more successful matches and also address the grief and loss that the widow or widower is experiencing and helping everyone to be able to understand each other a little bit more effectively. So tonight we're going to do a Q&A. I have people that write into me all the time and I want to share with you some of the questions they have because it might be similar to the question or experience you also are having. Now, I'm a licensed therapist with over 20 years of experience and I offer psychotherapy for my clients that are here in Alaska, and I also offer coaching and consultation for people from all over the world. So you're welcome to inquire about that if you'd like, and the links to my website are below in this video, or below this video in the description. So let's dig into this first question of the evening. So my viewer writes in and he says, "Hello there, I am currently not in America and am dating a widow, but things have taken a turn. We met for our first date last Sunday. It was the perfect date. We warmed to each other very quickly. We had lovely conversations. We laughed, never any pauses. Things heated up in the last 10 minutes when the lady said she should get going and cook her kids' dinner. I offered my hand to pull her up a slight incline, and then she never let my hand go. So we walked hand in hand for a bit. She also told me something and I side hugged her. And when I did this, she brought her head to my chest. I walked her to her car and asked if we could kiss. She brought her head forward and we kissed a few times on the lips. This was a perfect date. She texted me this when she got home. She said, 'Yes, thanks, it's all good. It's a nice, easy drive home. It was really lovely to meet you, and I agree, it was very comfortable and great that we have so much in common. You're very kind. I'm not sure how to respond to your comment other than to say thank you, which seems so bland. I think you're a lovely person and we have lots to talk about, so let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. Thanks again for the drink and cake and great company.' What a beautiful afternoon." The next day, she sent this. "I've been feeling quite strange and a bit uncomfortable since I got home yesterday. I think for me, things went a bit further and quicker than I was ready for. It was a really lovely day and I absolutely enjoyed it, but in my heart of hearts, I'm not sure I have the romantic feeling for you that I was hoping for. I'm truly sorry. We have so much in common and you are a very lovely person. If you want to chat tomorrow or later in the week, let me know. I like this lady so much." He says, "I haven't given up and we're seeing each other next week and maybe do a reset. We are still texting daily. Do you think the date exceeded our expectations and scared us a bit because I too was surprised how things went? I should say that what happened organically. There was no pressure from either of us. Help me, please. Best wishes." Let's call him Kaisen. Okay. So Kaisen, I want to address the first thing. Number one, what a kind, respectful man you are. And how lucky any woman would be to go on a date with you. No pressure, just this great organic conversation. You're a good conversationalist, obviously. You're able to connect with people. You sound like a very good humored person. And you were so respectful of her, asking, "Can I kiss you?" And she leaned in to let you know. I mean, what a wonderful example for other men to be able to follow. This was a great first date. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And all the women listening to this are probably saying the same thing. But here's also what I hear. You wrote to me for honesty, and although I was not there, I can only speak to you from my personal experience, my clinical insight, and my standing as a woman. Here's my assessment based on what you've given me so far. This isn't a widow issue, not really, because you wrote to me later and told me that she also, she was widowed about 6 years ago. She also had another significant relationship after the death of her husband, which left her quite sad and broken afterwards. So she was heartbroken by whatever happened with this other man. Now, she may have some fears around digging in again. This is quite possible because she's been widowed and then she's been burned. So we got to keep that on the table as relevant information, because there's nothing worse than getting widowed from the person you love, and then when you're raw and vulnerable, getting burned by someone else you try to open up to. So it would be no misunderstanding that she may be a bit shut down to new love, even though she may want it. Here's also what I hear. She wants to like you. She sees your good qualities. She sees you're a lovely man. She recognizes the flow and communication and the good time that you're having together. But there's something missing for her. And most people, when surveyed, will say they know if they're going to be compatible, like sexually, with someone in terms of the chemistry we talk about when we meet someone. Chemistry is more than just having a good conversation and feeling comfortable with someone, because you can have a good conversation and feel comfortable with the best of friends. But the chemistry that needs to be present for true love and passion to bloom between two people is something that is usually there pretty quickly. Now, that's not 100% of the time. I'm not telling you you should give up, but what I would recommend is that you move forward with caution. This woman is telling you, right now, sir, good kind sir, you are in my friend zone. I kissed you and I gave you the wrong message, because now upon evaluation, I am recognizing I don't have the chemistry with you that I need to have to move forward. On the other hand, she sees what a great guy you are and she wants to like you. She would love for you to be somebody she's really attracted to. But right now she's not. And now why I say that is because she's continuing to talk to you. So she's maybe hoping on her end also that she'll warm up and maybe start to like you a little bit more. Now, I will have to say this. Now, when I met my first husband, we did divorce many years later, but when I first met him, I quite honestly looked at him and I thought, this is one of the least attractive men I've ever seen. But he was also the most charismatic, the most charming, the funniest, the most incredible person to be around. And I fell in love with his personality. And I did have chemistry with him, even though I wouldn't have put him up as this is the physically attractive person. He was attractive to me in every way otherwise. And so all of those things blended together, and I came to adore him for all of his quirky, odd looks that he had and his way about him. I fell in love with all of him in time. And in short order, actually, we were married 9 months after we met. So I don't want to discourage you entirely, but what I want you to hear is that I would recommend moving forward with caution. This woman has given you some information. Now, she sounds like a very kind and lovely person, and so she doesn't want to hurt you. She also doesn't want to put you out entirely because she's not totally sure yet. But she wants you to know, right now, I do not have chemistry with you. But I'd like to be friends and see if maybe something will develop. What I also want you to hear is you might consider giving yourself a time frame for this friendship to see if something's going to bloom or not. If you see each other frequently or, a few times, It's going to be apparent within the first, 3 or 4 dates if there's going to be any chemistry for her. The next time there's any kissing to go on or anything like that, just allow her to lead. She'll let you know in many visual ways. You sound like you're a pretty intuitive person. You can kind of tell. It sounds like she was open for a kiss at the time, but now she's holding back. So just pay attention, use your good intuition, and allow her to lean in, because it feels good to have a man around. It feels good to be able to put your head on a man's chest. And you can't blame a girl for enjoying your comfort and your company. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Proceed with caution, enjoy her company, and tell yourself now, if this doesn't work out, it's not a reflection on me or my quality as a human being or my, virility as a man or anything like that. Know that you are a great, attractive, competent, desirable man that may not fit with her. Just because you like her doesn't mean it's going to be reciprocated. And again, I want to add, I do not believe this is a widow issue. Because she has been able to open her heart before, she's also able to do it again. So give it a little bit of time, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. But after that, if you're still not getting any real warmth from her, chemistry wise, she's reciprocating it, then I would recommend cutting your losses, putting her also in the friend zone, and moving on to better connections with women who can give you what you are also offering them, because you sound like a fantastic man. Okay, so here's question number 2. This one comes from a viewer that we're going to call Jana. And this is what Jana says. She says, "Where I am, thoughts for surviving a second year. Hey, Sevilla. Just after the year mark, which I thought would make me feel better, I'm living in the reality that I will feel this loss vividly forever. I don't feel ready to enter any new relationship beyond flirtation and running the business I ran with my husband. That's another painful reminder every day that he's gone. I'm trying to take care of the woman I am, but it's so difficult to see beyond today. I actually applied for a part-time job this week because I feel it would be a great way to help me stop isolating myself in a fairly gentle environment. Any other suggestions for re-entering society? Going to the grocery store does not count as a social life. I do go out to eat a couple of times a week with my neighbor, but other than that, not much else. I'm really feeling the isolation. Thanks." Okay, so this is a complex question, because this is on the tail end of the pandemic. I don't even want to say it. We're so sick of hearing about it, but here's the reality. We've all been isolated really badly for the last couple of years. And it sounds like this is the time period in which you were widowed. Extra big struggle, because we don't get to share the grief with others. We don't get to commune. We haven't gotten to just be with friends and family in the way we may normally and organically have done so in the past. So this has affected a lot of people's grief that have had this kind of loss during since 2022, between 2020 and 2022. So it's been a big deal for people. So you are not alone in that, and we're all seeking connection, and we are hardwired as human beings, hardwired for connection, for love. We need other people in our lives. So yes, you're yearning and longing for more people. Here's some things to consider. Number one, I just want to acknowledge it's really difficult to recreate the social life we may have had when we were young. When you're in high school and there's a bunch of kids around, or you're in college, or maybe when you're raising your children and the children at school and you're meeting lots of other parents, or when you're busy in your work world. As you get older, it becomes more difficult to make those friendly connections, which is why the ones we've made in the past are so important. And you don't want to let go of them. But then there's moving, people move cross country, and we lose ties. Thank God for social media that keeps us connected to people that we love, but it's not the same as being able to share dinner with, for example, your neighbor, as you get to enjoy a couple of times a week. So first of all, I want to normalize where you're at. One, due to the pandemic. Two, due to the potential age that I assume you may be at. Most of the viewers on this channel are middle-aged to elder. We have some also younger viewers as well, because we do get widowed early on in life as well. So there's a huge gamut here. I don't know where you're at on that, Jana, but I want you to hear that this is normal to feel this way. You are not alone in feeling isolated. Okay, so here's what you got to do to get yourself back out there. Number one, you're going to have to force your options. And that means allowing yourself, Jenna, to feel the fear and do it anyway. Now, feel the fear. It doesn't mean you're terrified of meeting other people, but you have to re-exercise that muscle that's been weakened by everything that's been going on in the world, by having the person you believed yourself to be in the context of your relationship ripped away from you against your will. Now you have to be in a place where you have to recreate yourself. And it's no fun, because guess what? As you're doing it, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I never wanted to have to do this anyway. So you have like a double level of resistance to putting yourself back out there, because when you do that, you're having to accept the loss. Even if the loss is many years out, or if it's fairly recent within the last couple of years, you still have to bite that bullet again, the bullet of reality that everybody who's been widowed has to sit in eventually. This actually happened. And me having to feel the fear of putting myself out there to meet other people is another step in my journey of loss. Another thing that I have to accept that I didn't want to accept. But here I am. Here you are, Jenna. And so that's the first step, is accepting that this is something that needs to be done, to feel the fear and do it anyway. And that's called courage. It's called courage. So if you can allow yourself to do this, I want to recommend, there's lots of different opportunities out there. Number one, there's a thing that's very popular around the country, and it's called meetup.com. Now, it's not specifically a dating site, although I'm sure people meet people that they become romantically involved in, but that's not the point of it. Meetup.com is to gather with individuals who enjoy the things you do. So we enjoy going to the museum, so we're going to go visit different museums together. We like going hiking in the woods. We are women who are 100 pounds overweight, and we want to go swimming together. I mean, there's all kinds of niches out there. We're a group of men who have lost their children, and we're going to get together and go hunting. It's like all kinds of stuff is out there. So you just go to the site and you put in the types of things you're interested in, and it connects you with people that have like-minded interests. This is a great way to meet other people, to make more friends. Now, this is the digital age, and so if you can embrace using those, the technology, that's fantastic. Now, there may be something specific to your area where you live that you can look up. And of course, there's dating sites, but it doesn't sound like you're wanting to date specifically. You just want to have a greater and more robust social life, and that can happen. The other thing is to join certain groups. If you have a craft that you like to do, there's crafting groups of people that get together. Or if there's certain types of exercise, you could join a softball league and a bowling league. I mean, lots of things. So start thinking outside the box. Think outside your comfort zone. when you can allow yourself to do that, Jana, then you are going to find so many more opportunities opening up for you and new stimulus. Here's another thing. People go on trips, and you don't have to take an expensive around the world trip. You could take a tour of New Orleans trip, I mean, you could go someplace local in the United States, or take a cruise and go meet some people that way. If you have the funds and the availability to be able to do something like that. Just sit down and think of 50, like not 50, but that's a lot, but 10 different ways that you could imagine meeting somebody. When you go out to dinner with your neighbor, brainstorm with him or her how you could meet other people and write them down. Then give one of them a try. Just one. Just one. Don't feel like you have to do everything. It's going to be too overwhelming. Put your toe in the pot of the social world, and new things may come to you. There's a lot of possibility. You could take a new class at the university. I had a friend of mine who was in her 70s, and she was one of my best friends. Absolutely adored her. She went to university because she never had a chance in all of her life. And she'd run around campus with her walker because she had bad knees. And man, she had so many friends. Everybody loved her. She was like the local elder. And she was so excited about her education and her degree she was getting. And then she got knee surgery, and then she was running all over campus. I mean, she had tons of friends. Are you interested in any spiritual groups? There is all kinds of different types of churches. There is different ways of understanding and believing about things. All kinds of religious started exploring. Go visit different religious organizations, different churches. Just show up one day and experiment. See what you could learn. There is metaphysical groups and New Age thinkers and people studying mediumship. I mean, open up your world and take off the blinders of who you were before and say, who could I be now that my life has inextricably changed in a way I didn't ask for? But now that I'm here, what world can I dive into? Because literally the world is your oyster now. You have, sadly, but also, in a way, opportunity to be able to explore anything you want now. You are your own free agent. Now, of course, you have people in your world that you need to consider, so do that. But in the meantime, embrace this life, Jana. Embrace it because it's yours now. You're still here, you're still alive, and it's your opportunity to see where it will take you. So for all of you here on this channel, if you're interested in speaking with me individually, you can see the links down below in the description of this video if you'd like to talk to me about coaching, consultation. And, if you need help, get help somewhere. Get help anywhere you can. There's all kinds of groups out there. You don't need to be alone in your loss wherever you're at. This is a deep and powerful journey of being widowed. A deep and powerful journey. Don't do it alone. And if you are alone, reach out. Okay, I'm going to have links below as well to some organizations that I suggest for continued communication and contact with other people that have been through what you've been through. And number one, my favorite is Soaring Spirits International. And that, my friends, is a good place to start. So take good care of yourselves and have a lovely, lovely evening. Go do something kind for yourself right now.